I've never before done a video on Paulina Luna, the Republican congresswoman from Florida, but that's going to change because she was on Fox talking about immigration, Kamala Harris, and her swimsuit. So I'll play it and give my commentary.
It's now been 75 hours and nothing from them on the record. The Florida Congresswoman Paulina Luna joins us now. Congresswoman, great to have you on the program. I do wonder, while we have the polling that shows this is an important issue, and it does seem to be an important issue for people beyond simply those in the Republican base, will it rise up to the independent voter that's needed to pass judgment on the Biden-Harris administration and extend that judgment to the Harris-Walz candidacy?
Most certainly. In fact, I actually recently did an interview on NPR. Now, that was actually one of the top questions that they were asking me is what have I done as a member of Congress? Because that is the top issue for some of these independent voters. But I want to speak to something that you just mentioned, that she's running away from these questions. Well, I actually met Kamala Harris at the airport several years ago when she was running for president. And I asked her, I said, as a minority woman, like, what have you done about the rape and torture of Hispanic women and children? She ran away from those questions. And then she recently had Kamala HQ try to get in front of that. So she has no solutions. I frankly think that she's been the worst thing to happen to our country in a while. And the fact is that she had a seat at the table as a minority woman and did nothing.
Just real quick, one more on this topic. So I don't think it's partisan. I think it's accurate for you and me to sit here and assume and project that 4 years under Harris-Walz would look at a minimum like 4 years under Biden-Harris. So whatever we're getting at the border and the resulting crime in American cities now, there is no reason, zero reason we should assume it would be any different under the Kamala Harris presidency.
I would argue that it would be worse, and I say that because she's not wanted to do anything. She's been in charge of the border regardless of what the administration and the mainstream media has tried to say and bury her record on that. But I would also argue that, you know, showing how she has been extremely leftist, showing that she's absolutely willing to close detention facilities and also to not vet or check any of these people coming here. You know, I don't want to hear anything about, you know, Republicans being anti-woman because they are complicit and women being, and they're doing nothing about it. And it is by criminals coming here illegally.
I think that's extremely reasonable to say it would be worse because we just heard her in her own words taking a more extreme position than even Joe Biden when it comes to the border. You brought up that moment between you and Kamala Harris. It's on the internet. It's viral. I do want to ask you about, because you are going viral as we speak as well right now. It's something for something old, but it's you in a bikini, or not a bikini, excuse me, in a bathing suit, swimsuit, one piece. And it's gone viral again, Congresswoman. I don't know why this is controversial, but you have somehow once again, I guess, become controversial for your swimwear.
You know, what's interesting is they actually try to use it against me and hit me on it. But, you know, I'm going to lean into it. I can actually define a woman, you know, while they're trying to erase motherhood, while they are trying to call mothers chest feeders, while they are trying to put literally men in women's sports, which, by the way, kudos to the Supreme Court for making the correct decision and protecting women's sports today. But while they're trying to do all of that, they're going to then attack me for wearing a swimsuit. I represent a wonderful, beautiful community here in Florida in Pinellas County. We have some of the best beaches in the world. I make no apologies for that. But what I will tell you is that I will do everything to fight for women in this country, more than Kamala Harris.
Well, I think look, if you were trans, for that matter, if you were Jerry Nadler of New York and you came out in a bathing suit, I think they'd call you brave. But so I think it's interesting who they choose to celebrate. By the way, it would be brave for Jerry Nadler to come out in a swimsuit. But it's funny how they choose to celebrate and who they choose to criticize. No word from the same people criticizing you about where they stand on the gay porn in Congress or any number of trans flashers on the White House lawn. But you, Congressman, you've gone too far here with your swimsuit. I got to go, Congresswoman.
Look, well, I'll just...
Go ahead real quick.
Let me just finish up by saying this. I was in Sports Illustrated and Maxim prior to Congress. I was also a United States Air Force veteran, but they like to hide that stuff. So I make no apologies.
All right. Well, it's great to see you tonight as well, Congresswoman. Thank you.
So there's quite a few things to unpack there. Luna continues the Republican talking points of the border being so horrible, blah, 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 blah. She mentions that she believes Harris would be even worse than Biden. And I just want to throw this out here because I don't think I've done a good job of mentioning this, but it was something that happened at the start of this year. Back in January, Biden supported a immigration bill that was proposed by the horrendous Arizona Senator Kirsten Sinema and James Lankford, the Republican. And this bill was supposed to allow the DHS to close the border when encounters reach a 7-day average of 5,000 or exceed 805,000 in a single day. And the bill would mandate the detention of migrants seeking asylum and undergoing asylum interviews, with those failing the process being sent back to their home countries. This was criticized for not addressing the plight of dreamers, right? These very small people who were brought here as very small children illegally, but have lived here all their life. And was also disparaged, the bill, by Republicans, including the Speaker of the House, Johnson, and Trump, the former president, because they did not want Biden to get a legislative victory with regards to immigration, or to be able to be empowered by Congress to do something about immigration during an election year where Trump was going to use the issue to completely bash him repeatedly on this topic. It's funny that these people talk about playing politics, but the only reason you're against that immigration proposal, which was supported by two conservative politicians — I would say Sinema is a conservative Democrat — is because you didn't want to make it easier for the Democrats to not be seen as the party that won't do anything about the border. And when Luna mentions Harris, I've said before, the vice president has no enumerated ability to do anything about the border. Biden gave her a very impossible, ridiculous job of handling this issue that really she just has no actual ability to do anything with regard to. When Luna mentions that Harris would probably be worse, I would be inclined to agree, but that's only because I think if Harris becomes president, the Republicans are going to stonewall any attempts by her to do something about immigration, like revive that bill I just brought up. And it's going to make it to where we're going to see more years of them, complaining about the border, right? So they can win, House seats, Senate seats, even the White House every 4 years. And then when they get in power, letting the issues stay the same, because this is what they do. They want these problems to exist so they can campaign on them. That's why they block Biden's bill. That's why they're going to probably block anything that Harris tries to do on any topic, which is unfortunate because it shows our democracy is, just not a functioning thing. It's democracy in name only. Now, let's get over to the swimsuit controversy. So Luna wore some MAGA bathing suit, must be 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, long time ago, many years ago, obviously in support of Trump. And there are people on social media critiquing her for it. Now, I've said that there's been this kind of weird pattern I've noticed where there are people I'm not on the side of, I don't agree with the positions of on most issues, but there will be some controversy with them that is so ridiculous. I'm almost forced, if I'm being fair, to side with them. I can't imagine. So the Democrats always do the whole, don't shame women over their appearance. But then here you are taking this lady who, wore a bathing suit in support of a candidate. I mean, people wear clothes with politicians' names on them all the time, whether it's a hat or a shirt or whatever. Maybe not a bathing suit, but still. Here she is wearing this bathing suit in support of Trump. And that upsets people enough to where they're going to dig up some old video or pictures and complain about it. And of course, most of the people that are talking about the way she looks, lo and behold, hide their face, because that's what we have in this modern internet era. But I have absolutely no problem with whatever Luna decides to wear. It's really a shame that, we have all of these pressing issues, and this is even a thing that is being discussed. And it's just, it's sad that we can't actually have a concrete discussion about topics. Although I know that they tried to pivot to some other stuff that I didn't really want to get into. It's weird. In an era where most people hide their faces, they'll take this lady and insult the way that she looks or what she's wearing. And I just think it's gross, just really tacky. So she can wear whatever she wants. I will always be here to criticize her for policy substance. I thought this clip was relevant because it's another window into the attacks that the Republicans have. So, like, we had Britt who criticized Harris over, like, skipping the Netanyahu meeting. And now you have Luna who's doing the whole, she will be weak on the border thing, even though Trump is already doing that. So I guess she just wants to parrot his stuff. But the most entertaining part of this was the very dastardly swimsuit. That's how you know people just have nothing to do. Where, like, they're gonna dig up some old footage of this lady. Look at her in her MAGA. People wear stuff with politicians' name on it all the time. Give me a break.